What's going on, YouTube? Today, we're going to talk about Blackstone Labs and why the supplement industry isn't always what you think it is. So without further ado, let's get to it. Blackstone Labs is a supplement company founded in Boca Raton, Florida, with co-founders Aaron Singerman and PJ Braun laying the foundation for this massive company. Like most supplement companies, Blackstone preached their products as being able to make you bigger, stronger, increase libido, as well as having some nootropic products sold. In the first couple of years, Blackstone managed to make over 100% profit each year. In only a couple of years, Blackstone Labs managed to make it into Inc. magazine, as well as making $20 million a year. And for the most part, the products and the claims that they were making about muscle building, libido, nootropics, and everything under the sun managed to fall true, but at what cost? Before I go any further, I do want to make it a point to say that I'm not necessarily against pro-hormones or anabolics, and if you're choosing to use PEDs, that's your choice. But I would recommend waiting until you're beyond your teenage years, so that way you can at least have some regularity when it comes to your hormones and things like that. But again, that's up to you. And my biggest thing here isn't necessarily PED use, it's more or less regarding the supplement industry as a whole. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit further down the line. In 2015, Blackstone Labs began to have trouble knock on its front door. And for Blackstone Labs, their trouble was the FDA. The FDA sent Blackstone Labs a letter basically telling them to cease production on a product called Angel Dust. Angel Dust was being marketed by Blackstone as a pre-workout. And basically, the marketing tactics were pretty general. I mean, it's just a pre-workout, right? So of course it's gonna help out with your mental focus, your endurance, your blood flow, and things of that nature. Except it wasn't just a pre-workout. Inside of the pre-workout, they had a product called dimethylbutamine, also known as DMBA. And this is a controlled substance by the government that isn't really supposed to be distributed on the mainstream market, and it actually is known for having a side effect, and that side effect being high blood pressure. In addition to DMBA, they were also selling SARMs, also known as Selective Androgen Receptor Modulators. This is a PED, and it's also known for how it builds muscle, and it's become popular in the upcoming years, and it's still to this day not legal to sell for human consumption. As far as side effects go for SARMs, we're looking at acne, mood swings, decreased testosterone, even decreased size of your testicles, as well as, a negative effect on your liver enzymes. And in 2016, Aaron Singerman, co-founder of Blackstone, decided to leave the company and begin his entrepreneurial pursuit towards Redcon 1. By 2017, the FDA came knocking down on Blackstone's door again, but this time it was more like knocking down the door because they actually managed to raid Blackstone Labs. And while Redcon was starting to become a little bit more popular, in 2018, Aaron Singerman officially wiped his hands clean with Blackstone Labs, just focusing on the one business. In 2019, 8 members of Blackstone Labs were indicted. This included Aaron Singerman and PJ Braun. When asked about the efficacy and the potential side effects of the PEDs that Blackstone was selling and marketing as health supplements, this is what Aaron Singerman had to say. His initial response was that we all go through the available literature as well as the studies. He then went on to say that he was a libertarian, and that if you're an adult, you should be able to make the choice as to what it is you're consuming. In November of 2021, PJ Braun pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute controlled substances and to selling unapproved new drugs. The court sentenced Braun to 54 months in prison and also ordered him to forfeit $3 million. In addition, Blackstone Labs was also ordered by the courts to give up $1.2 million in forfeiture. As for Singerman, he was ordered 54 months in prison as well as a forfeiture of $2.9 million. According to justice.gov, 8 different individuals as well as 3 companies were convicted for activities that happened during this time at Blackstone Labs. So why am I telling you this? Because the truth of the matter is, anybody could have bought these products. After all, the internet is unregulated essentially when it comes to purchasing things, so technically a 15-year-old kid could have gone online and bought something that they saw marketed as a health supplement, but actually had pro-hormones and SARMs. According to the Department of Justice, the reason why they cracked down so hard on Singerman and Braun as well as Blackstone Labs as a whole was because this can be detrimental to anybody's health, and And that's not just the case for younger people, but it's especially the case for young men and women who are trying to improve their health, but might be taking some type of exogenous hormone as a result. And with exogenous hormones at such a young age, you're talking about messing somebody's endocrinology up to a point that might be irreversible. The importance of this story is because if you understand this story, then you understand some aspect of the supplement industry as a whole. My intention here isn't to shine a dark light on the supplement industry. There's plenty of companies that are ethical. The problem is, a lot of people consume products because the supplement industry does promote things like muscle building, endurance, increased libido, whatever it might be, right? And because of that, a lot of people are willing to just mindlessly consume these products without really understanding what it is they're putting into their body. This isn't a knock on Blackstone Labs though. What they're doing is no different than other supplement companies. While they did have a huge court case and while it did result in a massive amount of money being spent and some type of credibility taken away from their name as a supplement company, I'm sure that the majority of products that they sell are still ethical, and you could probably even go online right now and purchase something from them and it won't end up destroying your entire endocrinology. While doing research, I actually found a case that kind of applies to this whole entire Blackstone Labs case, while it might not actually be a product that was sold by Blackstone Labs. A company called TF Supplements actually used to sell a product called Androgen. While this was on the market, there was a guy named Jesse Woods. He was from Texas and was looking to build a little bit of muscle. Now, according to the article that I read, he was weighing in at about 150 pounds, so he went online and saw this product called Androgen, decides to buy it. After using it for a couple of weeks, Woods ends up finding out that, yeah man, this stuff works. Puts on 20 pounds of muscle apparently, and starts looking better, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was feeling better. As a matter of fact, one day he ended up leaving work early because his stomach was hurting. When Woods got home, his wife noticed that his eyes were turning yellow, and so they ended up going to the hospital for what I'm sure they thought was only going to be a day or two, but it ended up turning into a 32-day stay. During Woods' stay at the hospital, he ends up going through a series of tests. He can't hold down food, and he ends up developing a pungent odor. What Jesse Woods was actually experiencing was liver failure. It turns out that the Androgen that Woods was actually consuming at the time had a prohormone in it called superdrol. It's believed that the superdrol was actually the main reason for Woods' liver failure. And to make matters worse, Woods was just consuming this online because he heard that it was going to help him build muscle, but he had no idea that there was actually any type of prohormone inside of Androgen, at least according to his statement in Men's Journal. In Men's Journal, Woods went on record saying that doctors aren't actually sure how long he'll be able to make it at his current state because there's so much scar tissue that's developed on his liver. This kind of serves as more of a cautionary tale as opposed to a regular occurrence. I don't want to mislead anyone into thinking that if they end up taking one cycle of whatever PED, that it's going to end up killing them or jeopardizing their health as a whole. But the point that I do want to drive home is that if you're going to take a supplement or a PED, you should really be doing the research and understand how your body's going to end up reacting to whatever it is you're taking. And more importantly, you should be taking a look at the labels to see what products you're actually consuming because, like the case of Jesse Woods, you might end up taking something that is detrimental to your health as well as your well-being. So with that said, the point of this whole entire video and the whole entire point of this story was to kind of demonstrate that not everything is the way that it seems to be. I take creatine and whey protein, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every single product on the market is going to help with muscle growth or your overall health. And while some people might look at the story of Jesse Woods and kind of victim shame him and say that he was not really knowledgeable on what it was he was taking, or he was taking too much, or whatever the case may be, I still think that it's important to look at it as a whole. A lot of young men, in particular, end up taking, these PEDs that end up jeopardizing their health overall. When I created this channel, I wanted to make sure that I was able to help people who are beginning their fitness journey. I'm not personally a personal trainer, and I'm not really somebody that's well-versed when it comes to nutrition, diet, and things like that. Instead, I'm just a fitness fanatic. And there has to be a line drawn whenever it comes to the people that you follow who are considered influencers, right? They're selling supplements, they're selling products, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most ethical product on the market. I just want to make sure that I'm relaying my knowledge over to the people watching these videos so that you have a better understanding of what it is you're getting yourself into whenever you go out and you decide to consume certain types of supplements without the knowledge that is needed to understand what it is you're consuming and how it's going to affect you. So with all that said, I want to make sure that the people watching this video have full transparency, and understand what it is they're putting into their body. And if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate you making it this far. Ending it here. See you at the next one.